NVIDIA invited us to this hotel meeting last week, and I learned two important things from the visit. One, if you want to sound cool when you're talking about graphics cards, you got to shorten performance to perf.
It always works.
Yeah. And two, they've actually made the desktop GTX 980 for laptops. No mobile moniker, fully featured GTX 980 in notebook form.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it, because when you look at the size of a GTX card for a desktop, that thing is much larger than what you'd imagine would fit inside of a laptop.
Right?
So, I mean, I'm immediately intrigued. Tell me, how did the perf hold up?
Well, they had a desktop system sitting there with a full GTX 980, and they were running comparisons with these laptops that were actually already outfitted with them from all these manufacturers. And we ran the Tomb Raider benchmark, the classic Tomb Raider benchmark.
It rotates around her.
Yeah. It was only like 8 frames per second slower on the laptop.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And in the everyone's favorite Shadow of Mordor benchmark that only takes like a few seconds to run through, it was the same deal, like only a little bit slower, but basically on par.
That's pretty crazy. I'm wondering, obviously these laptops aren't going to be as portable, even as portable as today's gaming laptops. I mean, from the stuff that I've seen so far, they're pretty bulky, and that's not surprising, but did you get the sense that these are machines that people would want to carry around, or is this sort of like a space-saving thing that you move once in a while?
MSI had that huge Titan laptop with the mechanical keyboard.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's going to have a GTX 980 in it, and that one's huge. But then there was this manufacturer named Aorus, and they had really slim notebooks actually that had this card in it. So it's like it runs the whole gamut. And even MSI had like a smaller one. So I mean, it's just another basically thing in the arsenal of these OEMs to put in laptops, and you're good to go. Now Asus had this huge, I'm sure you've seen it, it's like called the GX700, has this like water block on the back of it.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, we're gonna SLI 2 GTX 980s and put it in this thing, which they didn't have running. They just had a unit to show how like big and ridiculous it was.
I guess if you can do it, you might as well do it. But I'm just curious how many people are going to make this like a worthwhile endeavor in the end.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to buy this stuff? I don't know.
It's pretty neat. Like they showed Eve Valkyrie on the new Crescent Bay headset of the Oculus running on a Clevo notebook, which is cool. Like that's running on a notebook. All right. And then they showed off a 3-monitor, like 1080p Project Cars, surround gaming setup, which is like, yeah, all right. They're like showing off all the stunting they're doing with this card.
Yeah.
But again, like, yeah, what's the practicality? I don't know. It's just that's it. It's
just cool and big
step
and
forward.
Probably
Yeah.
expensive, I'm assuming.
Probably. We'll know more. Probably right as this story breaks, all the OEMs will be like, yeah, new laptops available for sale starting whenever.
Yeah.
At this price.
I'll be curious to see how this impacts the price of gaming laptops with the mobile variant of GPUs,
Right.
Be it from NVIDIA or ATI at this point. It has to have an impact, because if once this thing comes in, it's going to disrupt the landscape.
Yeah, it's basically a whole new way of making a notebook. There's no dip and perf, if you will. That's all there is to say about this, other than people should stay tuned to our channels, and I'm sure we'll have reviews from these notebooks as they come out.
Yeah, we'll definitely have coverage of this stuff down the road, because this is crazy, and I'd love to see how it performs, even if I'm not writing the review myself.